Hello everyone! Welcome to another video where we renovate this nice GMC motorhome from 1978. So we got rain happening in the Pacific Northwest. The leaves have not fallen off the trees yet, so winter is not supposed to be here yet. It's definitely coming into autumn, and the nasty weather has started, which means that I'm running out of time to finish getting the outside of the motorhome ready for paint. The big holdup right now is the fact that I've got some patches. I want to weld in some patches on the aluminum skin, and nobody really does this. It's extremely difficult to weld 16th inch aluminum sheet metal, but I bought a TIG welder, and I'm trying to teach myself how to do that so that I can do those patches myself. But if I can't get my skill level up to that ability, like I would say within like 2 weeks, I'm definitely going to throw in the towel and take it to a local shop. The local shop says they can for sure get the job done. So paint is going to be happening this winter, soon enough. And in the meantime, while I'm practicing welding, there's small odd jobs here and there. I mean, they take all the time, so they are a part of the motorhome. Not big sexy jobs like completing the front end or anything like that, but they are necessary to be done to get the motorhome legal. So starting this week right now, we're going to do the side reflectors because it's currently not legal without side reflectors. But before we jump into that job, let me show you guys where I'm at with my welding skills. All right, I'll give you guys a little update on my welding practice for today. There was a comment left by a guy named Tim Turner who said the #1 consideration when he welds aluminum is how clean everything is. Clean, cleaner, then clean again, clean some more. So yeah, I've got my electrode nice and clean these days, and I'm able to do this consistently. I can always make that happen now. And also, I've switched to a finger switch instead of the foot pedal. Got the foot pedal down there, but instead of having that, I'm using the switch instead because I won't be able to use the foot pedal when I'm actually welding on the motorhome. Although, I gotta say, it's not looking very promising that I'm going to be the one welding on the motorhome. I think that's unlikely to happen at this moment. But we'll see. We'll see if I can get there. I'm going to keep practicing every day. Anyway, the problem that I'm having now is not a clean electrode or a clean coupons, clean base material, because you can see I'm getting a nice... That's nice. That's the way it's supposed to look. And look at I kind of did this little zzz across there, and it kind of worked for, what is it, about 1/2 inch? But mostly I'm kind of blowing out the seam because I'm not adding filler material. So it didn't work all the way through here. But when I'm adding filler material, that's what all this is. You can see I'm getting that gross carbonated, carbonized, disgusting welds. This is a weld that I cut open. It was welded to this side here, I think. But yeah, it's just so terrible as soon as I start to add filler rod, which tends to suggest that my filler rod is dirty, but I've cleaned it. I've wiped it down with an acetone rag, so maybe I need to wipe it down even better. I'm using paper rags. Maybe I need to use a cloth rag. I hate getting acetone all over my hands when I clean everything. And then there's the question of filler rod compatibility with the coupons, with the underlying metal. So I have no idea what these coupons are made out of. I got these from Weld Metals online or weldmetals.com, and there's no indication of the alloy here on these coupons. I looked it up on the website. Also, no indication of what alloy they're using. The welding rod that I'm using is some 4043, so 16th inch 4043 stuff. And I don't get it. I don't get it why it's just so nasty. This might just be dirty. So, I mean, I can't imagine it's coming that dirty, in the box. I just pulled this out of the box. It should be as clean as it gets. And actually, this is the first time that I'm touching it by hand. I always had the gloves touching it before. So I don't know why it's just constantly so gross. All right, today is tomorrow. It's the next practice welding session, and I've made some good progress, starting with this acetone, and I've got my rag that I'm now keeping because it's completely soaked in acetone, so I'm keeping it in this yogurt bin. And what you can see is these streaks. These are from this is just 2 rods. So these 2 rods here. So I'm really just cleaning the holy bejesus out of those rods, and it takes quite a bit of acetone and quite a bit of wiping with a really good rag. So acetone and a paper towel won't cut it. You can see I've got my pile of rods to be cleaned there. And with that, I can now announce my first successful weld. This is a serviceable, ugly as it is, that is a serviceable weld with good penetration to the other side. So that will do the trick. If I could do, ugly as that is, if I could do that everywhere, if I could do that across all seams, I would have a workable skin repair job. I can always kind of sand that down and get it to work. So that's what I'm after. Success has been achieved. Now I've just got to be able to do this every time I try. I was talking to somebody else who used to be a very skilled welder. He doesn't do that work anymore, but he was telling me about this product here. Apparently it's some sort of like an acid solution, which works really well for cleaning aluminum. So I'm hopeful if I order this, it will solve my problem, but I don't know. See, aside from the hand-eye coordination where you're using both hands and maybe the foot pedal as well, aside from that issue, which is what I really need to practice, and I have been practicing even though the welds look terrible, but my main problem at the moment is like a technical issue. I cannot get those welds to be clean. They don't look like nice, clean, stacked dimes or whatever you want to call it. So it's probably just, getting those surfaces completely free of anything except for, the aluminum or the aluminum oxide, I should say. So if you guys are welders out there and you know what's going on, chime in, let me know. I could use the help. Anyway, let's move on. Well, the mailman brought me my reflective tape. You guys may remember this issue from a couple episodes ago, talking about the side reflectors. So here is the stock side reflector, and here's the yellow tape that I'm going to be replacing it with. And this is a crappy little flashlight, but we can start to see the reflectiveness of each of them. So yeah, I'm going to say that the reflective tape is maybe even superior to the stock. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, let's, I could just stick this to the side of the motorhome and be done with it and it would be legal, but how ugly is that? I want to make something neat out of this. Let's talk about GMC logos throughout time, starting with this one. This very sort of script-based logo comes from the turn of the 20th century, somewhere around 1900, I think, probably from the very inception of the General Motor Company. And I really like it. I do like the antiquity of it, and it would be cool to have this on the motorhome at some point, but it really isn't period correct. So there's other logos that we need to look at. This, of course, is the script logo to give you a better idea. Model 16, maybe from like the model year 1916. That's what I'm guessing. Anyway, you can see the logo morphed a little bit here and became sort of more blocky. This, I'm going to guess, happened in like the 20s or the 30s. And then we started to kind of referencing that scripted M, where the M is larger than the G and the C. You can see the M was still dominant here in the letter forms. A little bit cartoonish, kind of funny. I don't like this one at all, but it's just interesting. And then you see they kind of went from this into that, where the three letters kind of became the same size. And we're kind of getting into something a little more familiar these days. I absolutely love this logo. This is the cream of the crop for me. I don't think the GMC logo ever was any better than this. Here's a slightly different version of it. And this is the version I want to talk about because you can see all of that red can be reflective material. So this is what I have in mind for the side reflectors. And I think that I basically want to duplicate what I'm seeing right here. But like I said, it's not period correct. This is the logo it's a still shot of one of my video frames. And so you can see that logo, same vintage, 1975-ish, 73. This was off a medium duty pickup truck for GMC released, but that's more period correct if I did something like this. So I could fill in the space around the letters similar to that, but have it be that logo. So that's an option. And of course, in the 80s, this was the logo. And then today, all three letters kind of touch each other. And this is really the modern logo. So definitely don't want to go with this, but you could see how the red here could also be reflective and we'd still be making, a viable reflector. But I just love this one. Those letters are from about 1961. Best I can tell, there is this truck. This is obviously a very well restored GMC 1000, and look at those letters. So 61. So about 20 years before my motorhome was made is when this lettering was was the logo for GMC. So I don't know. It's tempting. It's tempting to use this logo, even though it's not quite right. So if I went with this one, the letters themselves are thicker, which means that I'm not going to have as much reflective material. So it's not going to be as good of a reflector, but I could still fill in all of the space around here. I'll use the mouse there. You see, inside the letters, I could leave it empty so that the color behind it, whatever the color the motorhome is going to be or whatever, would shine through. And just in the space between the letters and the frame would be the reflective tape. So that's an option. But I really do think that this is, I like the letter form better and I get more reflective surface area. So I think this is what I'm going to go with. And I'm sure that some of you guys out there watching this are going to disagree and think I should have gone with the period correct lettering, but it's my project, so this is what I'm going to do. What you guys are looking at here is the work environment for Rhinoceros 3D, which is my CAD program of choice. And I imported this photo, the one that we saw a minute ago. And I thought that I would use the pickup truck as my reference just because the photo was taken from straight on, whereas the emblem is kind of crooked. So it's easier to sort of figure out the guidelines and exactly what the graphic designer was doing back in the 60s. And I can always stretch this later on if I need to morph and change the letters to be taller. Anyway, this is kind of a quick rendering of the final shape, and this is kind of real time. I'm just critiquing it in my head and seeing if there's any changes I want to make. But no, I like it. So the next step is to get it printed, and this is my Delta printer. It's a very quick printer, and I usually use it to prototype with, just because I never know if something's going to change. But yeah, we can see the geometry being made. So now that I have this part, I can use one of my other printers to make a template, and this is basically just a guide to cut out the reflective tape in the right shape. All right, now I've got this sheet of glass. This side is glass. This side has capped on tape on it. It's for a printing surface. Yeah, what we're going to do is take this roll of reflective tape and stick it. We're going to stick a part of it to the glass so that we can easily cut it with the knife. Oh, tedious handwork. No matter what kind of work you do, there's always some of this. And it's funny because it can be kind of therapeutic after a while, but yeah, it was just a fun little job. I find cutting on glass to be better than using those vinyl cutting mats. I just like it better. Well, the glass was nice for cutting on, but as I was peeling it off the glass, you can see these portions of the sticker were peeling away. So it's not ideal. I'm going to have to maybe keep the backing paper on it as I cut the next 3 of these. Finally, I just had to get the sticker stuck down inside the emblem. Yeah, seeing this logo in place on the bus, I really feel like this aesthetic matches the sort of curved shape of the motorhome just so much better. I'm really happy with this. All right, you guys, so this reflector will do the job. And let me show you guys a shot of it in the dark. You can see how reflective the tape is back behind the GMC logo. So it'll work really well. And by the way, let me link in the description down below another much larger YouTube channel that did a whole explanation of retroreflective materials. So that's what this is. Really, really interesting stuff. It's basically microscopic prisms. Yeah, so I'm not going to use this specific one on the motorhome. There's small print issues. They're not that bad, but I'm going to use I've got a higher quality printer for printing final versions. What you guys saw me using was my very fast, but sort of like prototyping printer. So it only took me half an hour to print this. It might take me 2 hours to print it on the slow, but high quality printer, I don't know, not 2 hours. That's too long, but maybe an hour, probably like an hour. And then it's printed out of PLA, which is the easiest material to print with, but typically not the best because it has poor what's called plastic creep. So if you put it under pressure, constantly under pressure, it will slump and just sort of like gently bend over time. Like it's like a glacial movement. It will change shape. So that's not good. And also PLA has very terrible temperature resistance. So if you're in sort of a high heat environment, it will also tend to just turn to like rubber and not do its job. But this is just an emblem. It's just a decorative thing. So it's not under high heat and it's not structural. So I think PLA will work just fine in this instance, and it's so easy to print with and so inexpensive. Why not? Now, the inevitable question is, am I going to sell these? And I mean, I've got all these pieces of geometry for this channel. Not a lot of people are asking for them. I could throw them up on Thingiverse or something, but I'd also like to maybe use them to get people to help out this channel. I mean, you know, the videos do take me a lot of time to make, so I could just throw a Patreon link up at the end of the videos, but I haven't done that yet because I kind of want to get away from Patreon, and it's difficult to figure out how to link a PayPal account to some website. I have to make the website, and that's just all this other work that's not even getting progress done on the motorhome. So we'll see. That's why I haven't put that link up yet. But so no, I guess I'm kind of selfishly holding on to the work that I've done here and not just giving it away, because I kind of want to make it like a reward for people who support my channel. But this is certainly something that I could print and send to people if you guys are interested in this. So let me know. You can find my email address here on the channel. Yeah. Anyway, that will do it for this video. If I ever get my stuff in order, you can click right here to support this channel. But here is the link to binge watch all the previous episodes if you missed any of those. Thanks for watching. See you next time.